Franklin Clinton is one of the three protagonists in GTA 5 and of course, he's the most cool-headed person out of Michael and Trevor. Franklin was born in 1988 in South Los Santos, San Andreas. Franklin had a very difficult childhood as he never got to know his father. As a child, he heard stories about his father domestically abusing his mother, and Franklin's father abandoned his mother when she was pregnant with Franklin.
Man, I never knew him, but from what I heard, he was a cool dude.
Really?
Nah, man, that's just what I say to everybody, homie. I heard he was an asshole who hit my moms and then ran away when she was pregnant. Fuck him.
His mother was also a cocaine addict when he was a child, and eventually the cocaine addiction led to her death.
Yeah, sure, I agree. Ever since my mom chose to pipe over her baby, man, I've been lacking a feminine role model.
Your mom left?
Wasn't left for long before they found her dead.
After the death of Franklin's mother, he moved in with his grandparents, and he really has a good memories of them as they really took care of him.
My parents were fucking idiots. Threw everything away. But my grandma was real cool, dog. She left me the house. Overall, man, I ain't angry.
After moving in with his grandparents, Franklin met Tonya Wiggins and J.B. Bradshaw, and he decided to take on the role of a hustler and sold cigarettes with Bradshaw. Their scheme was successful until Franklin's grandfather caught them in the act.
You in the groove now, Franklin. And you and JB was homies before you had hair on your balls.
Yeah, so you keep telling me.
I still remember that time your grandpa caught you and JB slinging cigarettes. Chased you all over South LS.
After the death of his grandparents, Franklin moved to a house on Forum Drive with his aunt Denise, which was left to them by his grandmother in her will. Franklin attended Davis High School with Lamar Davis, Tanisha Jackson and Tonya, but he quickly got expelled for assaulting a staff member for an unknown reason. After getting expelled from high school, Franklin started his life as a gang member and cannabis dealer and started doing petty crimes with Lamar such as carjacking and small-time bank robberies. During their first bank robbery, Franklin and Lamar managed to steal $2,000, but the die pack exploded and they could not keep the money.
The score was like 2 stacks, man.
2G? Take home on your first gig? That ain't bad, man.
Man, the whole score was 2 stacks. Only I didn't see none of that shit. Die pack went off, homie. Money was useless then.
Die pack.
Around the same time, Franklin starts selling drugs for a local dealer named Marcus, but owns Marcus asks Franklin to do something above and beyond. Franklin's refusal ends up into a bloodshed where he had to kill Marcus and possibly his associates. Franklin's life as a gang member and drug dealer ended when he got caught and was arrested in 2008 and sent to a penitentiary. After Franklin got released, he decided to give up on gang life and wanted to restart his life with legitimate work. Franklin's love life was also a mess. At the age of 14, Franklin kissed Tonya behind Burger Shot and was arrested for public exposure, but Franklin blames racial profiling for his arrest.
They know to me, Franklin Clinton. I ain't so cracked out I don't remember that night behind the Burger Shot.
Not this again. What, we was like 13?
But you was a man after that night.
Franklin's only serious relationship was with Tanisha Jackson, but it didn't go well because of his involvement with gangs. Tanisha herself was affiliated with the family's gang and started dating Franklin around when he started his life as a gang member. Franklin and Tanisha broke up after Tanisha witnessed her brother's death in a gang-related incident. Tanisha broke up with Franklin fearing that Franklin's illegal lifestyle will bring harm to her and started dating Jaden, a rich doctor.
Still the same. I want a family. I need some security in my life. Goodbye, Franklin.
A few months before the start of GTA 5 story, Franklin completely moved away from his gang life as he and Lamar began working for American businessman Simeon Yetarian. Simeon owns a car dealership called Premium Deluxe Motorsport, where they both start working as a repossession agents. During a repossession task, Simeon sent both Lamar and Franklin to repossess a bagger from a Vagos-controlled area where they got confronted by Vagos and Lamar pulled a gun on them. Franklin and Lamar had to shoot their way out and they found the bike owner was killed. Lamar took the bike for himself as the repossession was meaningless. Simeon then sent Franklin to recover a BJXL sold to Jimmy DeSanta, and while bringing the car back, Michael pulled a gun on Franklin's head and ordered him to smash through the window of Simeon's dealership. Because Franklin was driving the car and Simeon was already blaming Franklin for the bike that Lamar took, Simeon fired Franklin and Lamar from the job. After losing the job, Franklin approached Michael about a drink that he offered Franklin after he cost his repo job, and we know the rest is history.
Now me? Shit, I'm a hustler that made it big. Big house, nice cars, a family, and everything. But damn, man, I miss getting these fucking hands dirty.
Michael DeSanta, whose real name is Michael Alfonso Townley and was born on July 6, 1962 in the Scottish city of Glasgow. Michael didn't have such a positive or wealthy childhood because of his alcoholic and physically abusive father, who later abandoned him. His mother also later abandoned him and told him many different things about why his father left him, such as skipping town, being run over by Tain, and joining the Navy. During the school time, he used to play American football and was considered a jock. According to Michael, he was imprisoned twice by the time he was 20.
And what about you?
What about me? Hey, I don't have the advantages that kid has. By the time I was his age, I'd already been in prison twice. I robbed banks. I ran whores. I smuggled dope.
During his jail time period, he learned many skills such as using tattoo gun to tattoo his name on his cellmate's buttocks.
Use a tattoo gun. It's one of those skills you pick up in prison. You know, inking your name on your cellie's ass.
Michael committed his first robbery in 1988, where he managed to steal $10,000 from a small business. After perfecting his criminal skills, he became an expert marksman and an efficient heist leader, and during that period he associated himself with Lester Crass, who would assist Michael in planning out heists and other tasks. Michael met Trevor while he was escorting cargo across the border, where Trevor was waiting for the unknown employer. But during that time, something happened between Michael and his elderly contact, who chased Michael to Trevor's airstrip. Trevor got suspicious as he was told there will be one vehicle, but when he saw two, he got suspicious, and at the end, things end up where Trevor shoots a flare gun at elderly contact's face, brutally killing him. Michael and Trevor worked together and dumped the body. After seeing how well they worked, Michael brought aimless Trevor under his wing as a partner. They had somewhat successful at their profession, but Trevor's rage used to draw further attention towards them while they were trying to run from law. A few years later, Trevor met Brad Snyder and introduced him to Michael. And Michael and Brad's relationship wasn't good as they never showed empathy for each other and often expressed mutual distance and distrust when working together. According to Trevor, at one point Brad planned to cut off Michael and solely work with Trevor, but Trevor refused it out of loyalty to Michael. The trio, along with Lester and few others, continued to commit robbery across the Midwest for a while. In 1991, Michael met a stripper named Amanda at a strip club. After a few incidents, Michael helped Amanda with breast implants, to be exact, which would help her in her stripping and prostitution career. Around that time, Michael would also start his own prostitution record. After dating Amanda for a few months, Michael married Amanda and had two children, Tracy and Jimmy. After that, eventually, Michael started questioning his criminal lifestyle and started fearing for his family, which annoyed Trevor, who started calling him soft. In 2004, Michael met a corrupt FBI agent, Dave Norton. Fearing his family's life, Michael made a deal with Dave to cut ties with Trevor and Brad. In exchange, Dave would disappear Michael and will help him to start a brand new life.
Listen, Amanda, we're going to move to Los Santos, start over. I made a deal. The slate will be totally wiped clean. His name is Dave Norton, nice guy, realist. He gets the glory, I get out. It's not even a decision. Amanda, I don't have a choice.
Michael would pay a monthly 5-figure amount to Dave to relocate him and his family to Los Santos and provide them with new identities.
And most witnesses don't transfer 5-figure sums into a particular FIB agent's bank account every month. Of course, the money gets moved around and washed through a number of fronts, but the trail is there. Deposits and withdrawals, the same sum every month. Agent Dave Norton.
By accepting this agreement, Michael gave all the information to Dave about their robbery in Ludendorff, where they'll stage that Michael got shot by Dave, but Dave would actually kill Trevor, who he knows will come after him if he knows that Dave was behind the plan, and Dave would arrest Brad. But during the robbery, things didn't go according to the plan, as Trevor kills the security guard. Their gateway driver got shot and died, and they barely made it to the ambush point. And things didn't go according to plan, as Dave shot Brad accidentally when he walked in front of Trevor, and Michael acted like he was shot and told Trevor to leave them alone and run. Trevor got angry and killed a few cops and eventually able to escape and never got caught by the cops. After the incident, Michael was announced dead and given a funeral, but it was Brad who died from gun wounds, so they buried him in Michael's grave. News reports stated that Michael had been killed, Brad had been imprisoned, and Trevor remained at large. Michael would eventually conclude that Trevor got himself killed but never received confirmation of this assumption. Michael and his family would move into a mansion in Rockford Hills, using his longtime alias DeSanta as his surname.
Forget 1,000 things every day, pal. Make sure this is one of them.
Trevor Phillips was born in 1964 in Canada, closer to the American border, or as he calls it, the Canadian border region of America.
Toughest, weirdest kid in Canada. Well, in the Canadian border region of America.
Even as a child, he had serious rage issues and violent impulses, which made it impossible for him to fit into society. Trevor also mentions how he killed various animals and differs even during the early years of his life. Trevor's childhood was really bad, as his father was physically abusive towards him, while his mother saw him as a useless boy and was emotionally abusive towards him. Trevor was forced into small rooms and crawl spaces as children as punishment. Trevor also had a brother named Ryan, who he didn't like, and he died prior to 2013 in an accident.
You remind me of my brother, Ryan. I mean, after he was dead. Oh, I'm sorry about that. No, don't be sorry. I'm glad he was dead. It was an accident. All right, that's all I have.
Trevor also developed a fear of clowns as a child. His father was an alcoholic and abandoned him in a shopping mall, and later Trevor burned the whole mall down. Trevor dropped out of school, which is the possible reason why he lacks basic knowledge and he struggles with grammar and improvises when it comes to punctuation. But when it comes to calculation, Trevor has great mathematical skills, as he can accurately calculate the price of 4 tons of gold in a matter of seconds.
So what's that worth?
Gold's trading at around 1,700 to 2,000 an ounce, 35 ounces a kilo, give or take, 1,000 kilos a ton, so that's
$200 million or thereabouts.
Give me a Yep, that sounds about right.
Trevor was also Canadian under-18 champion in golf and almost turned pro.
I was the Canadian under-18 champion.
Trevor later joined the military when he discovered his talent for flying jets. But things didn't turn out well, as several days prior to completing his training and becoming a licensed pilot, Trevor was deemed mentally unstable by the women in charge of psychological evaluations, which resulted in Trevor's discharge and grounding for life.
He could fly planes, this kid. So he signed up to the Air Force to fly all day long and bomb villages and maybe drop the nuke. And it was all going well until one day, just before he got his wings, an evil witch in charge of psychological evaluations told him he was unstable, grounded him for life.
After that, Trevor started committing petty crimes for no reason and started consuming large quantities of hard drugs. There is a chance that around that time, Trevor also worked as a trucker, as he got a soft spot for them. Trevor never committed any big crimes until he met Michael, where he shot a flare gun right through the old dude's eyes. After becoming friends and partners with Michael, his first job was robbing a place that cashed checks, but he got caught as the clerk was someone he knew and resulting in him serving 4 months of 6-month sentence.
The checks cash place? I went in, took him for $8 grand, walked out.
It was a bit more complicated than that, though, wasn't it, T?
Maybe I knew the guy. Maybe he ID'd me.
Maybe you did 6 months.
Maybe I was out in 4, and that, children, is why we don't leave witnesses.
After coming out of jail, Michael and Trevor committed many robberies all over the Midwest. At some point, Michael married Amanda and have 2 kids. Despite Trevor thinking that Michael was turning soft because of his family, he began to see himself as uncle to the couple's children. Sometime later, Trevor met Brad Snyder, who would join them during some robberies and heists, but Brad and Michael didn't like each other. It led to a point where Brad suggested Trevor to cut ties with Michael, but Trevor stayed loyal to Michael. During the ill-fated heist in Ludendorff, North Yankton, where things didn't go well and Trevor barely escaped and thought Michael was killed and Brad got imprisoned, which Michael and Dave planned so Michael can disappear. Because Trevor's identity was blown and he was all over the news, he was not able to get access to his savings. But regardless of that, he managed to evade the cops for several years and find himself a new life in the rural town of Sandy Shores. After the failed robbery, at some point, Trevor acquired a tattoo on his left arm reading R.I.P. Michael, 1965 to 2004, brother. At Sandy Shores, Trevor met a guy called Chef who can cook meth, and Trevor started doing the drug business with him. After robbing some place with Chef, Trevor upgrades his meth business and purchases a large amount of glassware and liquor store in Sandy Shores. And in 2012, he establishes Trevor Phillips Industries. Around that time, Trevor met Ron Jakowski and convinced him to divorce his wife and move next door to him to join his gang. Around the same time, Chef met Wade Harbert, who was looking for drugs on Sandy Shores before going to a concert with his friends. Trevor took his friends to Davis Quartz Quarry and killed them in order to keep Wade with him.
Sandy Shores to get lit, and you met a dealer, and he looked after you when your friends had abandoned you.
That was weird, weren't it? The last time I saw them, it was with you, driving out to the quarry, and then they just disappeared.
Right? I mean, they were gone. Some friends, right?
After establishing his business, Trevor affiliated himself with the Aztecas gang, the redneck hillbilly O'Neill brothers, and high-ranked member of the Lost MC. But the relationship with the Lost MC was strained because Trevor used to have really good times with the club's leader Johnny Klevitz's girlfriend Ashley Butler, and we all know the rest.
Oh, really? Well, you don't think so, huh? Well, why don't we just ask him then, huh? Hey, cowboy, you mind that I fucked your old lady? Sorry, what was that? Well, no, you don't mind? Oh, because you're a dead man?
Despite all the differences, one thing each three of GTA 5 protagonists had one thing in common, which was poor childhood. All three of the characters had their own issues and problems, which made them behave how they do in the game. And this is all the stuff for today's video. Subscribe to the channel for more gaming related content, and if you like this video, let me know in the comments which character's backstory you want in the next video. Till then, goodbye.